Hey, welcome to Cancel Comedy. And what I said, I'll see you on the next one if we're not canceled. Yo, what up, guys? This is Ari Gold. Welcome to Cancel Comedy. This is the intro. This is the very first episode, the show, whatever you want to call it. I just want to kind of like go into how I started comedy and why I started comedy and what kind of pushed me to. I've been, I guess, my whole life, I've been like a comic. Like whatever I was doing, it was always like, people were like, hey, you're just so funny. Like whatever I was saying, doing things, whatever. So whatever I was doing in my life, like when I would, converse with anyone, they'll just say, dude, you're like hilarious. You should be a comedian. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, that's something that I always had in mind. And so in November of 2017, on I believe it was the 13th or the 14th. I believe it was the 14th. It was a Tuesday, I believe. So if we actually check the calendar, I'll probably know exactly. But anyways, I went to a show because I met someone that was really just, I don't want to say like an alien, but was total like a fucking alien. And she was like, hey, let's go to the comedy store because I feel like there's something for you there. I was like, okay, cool lady, I'll go with you. And then the night before, I believe, or the day before, I had some tickets for Comedy Club, the comedy store, which is in Beverly Hills. A friend of mine who was pretty much just there was like, hey, I have some extra passes. Like, do you want to go in? I was like, sure. How's it work? And he was like just going anytime after, like, I believe 10:30, and it's just a free admission with 2 drinks and some etc. Anyways, guys, bottom line is we went to the show, and that's when everything happened. So I went there. The show was fun, great show, and like I give it like it was like an hour later. We got there like around 12:50, I believe. He was around there, and then like I believe he was like an hour 45 minutes in, or maybe he was actually half an hour in. I can't remember actually, to be honest. It was like 4 years ago actually. And Dave Chappelle comes in. They're like, hey, we have a surprise guest, and it was a Sunday. You know, so Sundays I guess Dave Chappelle comes once in a while, so it just happened to be that he was there. And this was a time when he was really like, yeah, he didn't take the Netflix contract and everything. He was like, you know what, screw this and etc. He was very like down on his energy, and he was doing like NPR, like criticizing, and like he was just talking shit about NPR. He was like, fuck NPR, you know, all they do is just talk shit. He was pretty much speaking very like red pill shit, you know, and he was just like in a low flow mode. And I was just there with this girl that I just met literally like an hour and a half before that, because we ate some food and then we went to a comedy store because she was hungry at this like Italian joint right next to it called the La Petite. Anyways, I digress. Going back to the story. Yeah, guys, so I'm sitting there, and out of everyone that was in the audience, every single person, Dave Chappelle was like, who's the lady? I was like, I have no idea. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, you have no idea? I was like, well, she's a rental, so I have no idea what her name is because I just met her. And he's like, motherfucker, what drugs are you on? I'm like, nothing much. I actually had a pen, you know, a kind of a with pen on me. And it was just a phase. I was just like doing some pens. It was Alpine, the best brand ever. Now it's discontinued. It sucks, but I don't smoke anymore, so it's fine. It's just like a little phase. I was going through a lot. My parents were going through a divorce, so I was just going through like hell. And this girl just literally was like this angel that just came and said, hey, I want to make your life balance. You know, I was like, yay. So I was like, Dave, I'm not smoking anything. This is just a pen. And then he was like, okay. And then it was like, no, but seriously, he asked me again, like, who's the girl? I was like, well, she's from the 9th dimension. And he's like, what dimension, motherfucker? I'm like, 9th, and I'm like, I'm from the 13th dimension, and we're just here visiting on our honeymoon on Earth. He was like, what are you on? Like, what drugs, what alcohol, what are you on? He was like, there's no way you're speaking this, so it's like in such a chill way without being something serious. Like, that is really, it's like kind of some kind of DMT, you know? Because he was convinced that I was on some kind of a drug, like some kind of poison. And I was like, no, I'm like, she's just this really nice person. I was visiting the 8th dimension and as a 13th dimension person, and she was just like kind of lonely and just wanted a friend to talk to, and I just came across her. We became friends, and then we fell in love. And then very shortly after, we just came to Earth on our honeymoon. And he was like, wow. And he literally told me his words. He's like, if anyone ever asks you if you met me and if we had any kind of this like comedy thing going on together, like just tell them to mention the word 13 dimension and I'll always remember you. I literally left the thing in his head, you know, forever. Yeah, guys, but this day was very like much the milestone of why he literally said you have to be a comedian because you have natural like improv in you. You can literally create jokes on the fly, you know. Obviously what I was saying, it was just like I was channeling it, you know. I was like literally improving it. It wasn't like I had like literally a fucking note there like writing there, hey, if I ever meet Dave Chappelle, I'm gonna say this when he asked me this question to this girl that I just met. That would be impossible, you know. I couldn't possibly make that shit up. You can make shit up. So anyways, guys, so, and then we were just going forward, and he started like asking me. And that day I was wearing like a super like grease kind of a clothing. My hair was like all grease, you know, like John Travolta. I was wearing leather jacket, leather pants. Everything was like leather, and it was Gucci. It was like cool. Like the brand was like really high quality. So he's like, hey, grease guy. He's like, let's and he pretty much put it, whatever he would ask the audience. He would go through me and he would get my response because my response was super humorous and super funny, and he would just bounce off of that and just go with the comedy and just kind of go more extracted, you know. And then at one point he was singing the Grease song. He's like, come on, sing with me. And I was like, okay. So I was like singing along. Literally the entire night, it was like a good hour and a half. We left at like 2:45. He was there for like an hour and 50 or even 2 hours plus. Actually went overboard almost 3 in the morning, just because he was really like enjoying the fact that I was there. And then my girl was kind of like a little weird. Like I said, she was not human. She was super not human. She kept on going. She was just lost in some way or form. So she kept on going to the restroom, and then I would go and to make sure that she's okay, because I'm just a guy that just really cares about my guests, whoever it is. I'm an empath. So I would go there, and then I would hear on the mic in the background like Dave Chappelle saying, hey, where'd that motherfucker go? Like, I need him. Like, tell him to come back. And then I was like, I'm coming back, Dave. Give me a sec. It was just the most amazing night, and it was just crazy how that night literally became the catalyst for me to say, hey, I really should pursue comedy because I naturally fucking rock this, you know? And that's literally what the intro of this comedy is, guys, this cancel comedy. And now that we're dealing with all this fucking shit happening, to cancel this, cancel that, like literally you can be canceled for wearing the wrong fucking shirt just because that's not popular anymore. It's like they've come to the point where you can be canceled for even just something that you said 20 years ago. So I'm like, what should I call my comedy? I have a website called Laugh Stage, which I was going to make it into a mainstream, but then COVID happened. So I'm like, how am I going to drive people here and actually have venues and events when COVID is here? You know, it's like literally a lockdown state. So I just said, hey, I'm gonna need something that is more relatable to people. And that's when canceled comedy was born. It just came to my mind. I wrote it down, and I was like, I'm going with this. And then I made the logo, everything, etc. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much, this is the cancel comedy, where I'm going to talk about everything that is cancel related, everything that is also true related, like things that we all feel, but we're not talking about it because it's just like taboo, because you can be canceled, you can even go to jail for that. Like everything you can think of, I'm going to speak about, and I'm going to rap and build my humor around that. So you're going to get like knowledge plus humor. It's almost like kind of like washing the truth with comedy and bestowing truth via comedy. You know, that's what it's going to be, guys. That's pretty much the first episode of this cancel comedy, guys. That was my story. I just really like wanted to tell you guys that because that's literally a big deal, because someone like Dave Chappelle that is huge telling you, motherfucker, you have a talent, that's his real words, you must pursue it. He's like, I don't want to even hear you ever even doubting it. You have to pursue it. I was like, Dave, I got you. I'm going to pursue it for sure, you know? Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for the watch. Thank you for the love. I'm going to also put this on a podcast soon, but it's going to be on Rumble and YouTube, because as we all know, YouTube is probably going to cancel me very fast once I speak about some sensitive subject that everyone doesn't talk about. Of course, it's going to be a comedy, not an actual like, hey, I'm trying to expose conspiracy. But even the words that I use, which are banned on YouTube because we're living in a fascist YouTube thing, just the word that I just mentioned right now, I can even be canceled, you know? So I know that it's going to be canceled eventually. So I'm going to have this also on rumble.com/cancel comedy. So if you ever see that the show is banned on YouTube, it'll be also on rumble.com/canceled comedy. And also it's going to be on a podcast with its own name, Cancel Comedy. That's coming after. I just want to make sure that I first do the video version and then the audio version, the podcast version, which will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it, whatever the podcast app is going to come after. I'm just testing the water to see how long I can survive on YouTube. And once the YouTube bans me, then I'm going to go full throttle on podcast and Rumble only. And YouTube is going to ban, unfortunately. Most likely it's going to get banned very soon, even though I've been told that if you are doing comedy, they do allow some things. But if you're criticizing anything, that's called hate speech, deception, spam, all this crazy shit that they pull out of their fucking ass. So as we know, that happens every single day. Even the fact that I'm wearing this shirt that says 0 fucks given, I might be canceled because the new algorithm of YouTube even scans images. So if I'm holding an image with a joke instead of verbally actually conveying the joke, it'll be banned. That's how bad we are right now in America and in the world. Like words of speech, it's fascism, the New World Order happening on the fly. Just the words that I just said right now, guys, that can even be banned. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's one intro video that was not even a comedy video, it's just an intro of what inspired me to become a comedian, might actually ban this channel. But let's just cross fingers that it doesn't, because I didn't say anything. I was just making comments here and there. But let's just see what happened, guys. And with that said, guys, I'll see you on the next one if we are not canceled. Thank you.